Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hey, Mark. This is Sheriff Alan Palmer. Just giving you a quick call back. Unfortunately, because this still is an active case, I cannot send you all the information directly. So you'll have to come down to the station to go through the files. I did inform Miss Sydney, and she'll be in touch with you probably, I'd say, within the next few days. So if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to me, Mark. All right, thanks.
Hey Alan, it's Mark. Sorry it's taken me so long to get back to you. This case turned out to be really complex, so I needed some time to compile my thoughts. With that being said, let's begin. According to reports, Charlie called from a payphone where he briefly talked to Jeff, who he claims was abruptly cut off. During this call, he heard some loud screams over the phone. This was likely the beginning of the attacks. It appears Charlie made contact with the killer during this time, as he claims to have heard heavy breathing over the phone. Now, if you ask me, the victim that stands out the most is Heather Leroy. According to reports, she had the most wounds out of all the victims. Because of this, I firmly believe she was the primary target. Now, unlike the other victims, it appears that her body had been moved around, you could say. According to the leaked reports, she was found wrapped in bedsheets. However, in Charlie's statement, he says that the bed was still made before he left the cabin. There was also blood in the hallway that led directly into the bedroom. This makes me suspect she was probably ambushed while attempting to flee the cabin. The message in blood seems to be something that was very personal to the killer, but also to Charlie. Why, you're too late. My theory is this was directed at Charlie. It was the killer's way of reminding him that they had won. This message was about establishing power and dominance. The killer might have been someone who had an obsessive attraction to Heather, potentially someone who was jealous of her relationship with Charlie. Based on the layout of the crime scene, I believe the killer had entered from the back door. Now, it's hard for me to figure out who was killed first, but I strongly believe it was Jeff, since the back door is closest to where his body was discovered. It also appears that Jeff had been stabbed with some sharp blade object. Given most of the victims were intoxicated, they were likely easily attacked. The DNA found belonged only to the victims. Because of this, I think the killer took measures to avoid leaving DNA behind. This strengthens the theory that this murder was carefully planned. The killer likely spent a great deal of time orchestrating how this was going to go down. Because of this, I do wonder if the killer knew about the victim's plans beforehand. Another very interesting thing about the message is the grammatical error. The spelling of your is used incorrectly. This might be a minor nitpick, but it's something worth pointing out. The killer was likely a young white male, around the same age as the victims, preferably someone who was in their mid to late teens, early 20s at most. Now, this person was likely socially awkward, struggled in school a bit, and likely didn't have much of a social life at all. The killer might have come from a dysfunctional household. If you ask me, I think this is someone who had pent-up emotional issues. Committing these murders was potentially a result of the culprit finally snapping. I believe the killer is someone who knew the victims, someone who had a connection to at least one of them. This could have been an acquaintance, or even a family member. Given that it's been so long and there has seemingly been no murders since, I believe that this is the killer's only crime. If the killer was to kill again, it would have to be over something that is deeply personal to them. An event that would remind them of what caused them to kill. Now, with all that being said, this finally concludes my analysis. I will say that, Alan, I believe this case is solvable. Now, I strongly encourage you to look further into the suspects who fit the profile I have provided. Now, if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to reach out. Till then, good luck, my friend.